Okay, boxing fanatics. So, Gervonta Davis captures a seventh round knockout victory over Ryan Garcia. What can we say about this fight? Well, in the build-up, Ryan Garcia appeared very confident, and in the first round, he came out pretty confident too. He came out behind his jab, was doubling up the jab, was very defensively responsible, and I think most people would agree that he won the first round. And also, as we've seen previously, Gervonta Davis is not usually the fastest starter. In any case, things already started to heat up in the second round. Garcia seemed kind of spurred on by his success in the first round, and I guess he probably settled in. And then Garcia was really letting the combinations go, and he was landing some good shots on Davis. I think a few right hands, and showcasing his blistering hand speed. But Davis, as we've seen, many times before, his ability just to pick out that left straight is phenomenal. And Garcia overstretched, and Davis punished him in the second round straight away and knocked him down first for the first knockout of the fight. It was a good shot. It was a brilliant shot by Gervonta Davis. It's fair to say Garcia wasn't really like super hurt off that shot. He did kind of bounce back off the canvas, and when he got up, he wasn't really wobbling around, or he took the shot well. But in any case, straight away from the second round, Davis has already showed Garcia that he has the power to drop him basically and to hurt him. And this kind of set the tone for the next three rounds. I mean, the next three rounds, it did seem that Garcia did become a lot more tentative, and he wasn't really throwing much. Rounds 3, 4, 5. It's really hard to give to Garcia. I think Davis was boxing well, just picking his shots. He wasn't hurting Garcia necessarily, but he was just picking his shots. And yeah, I think it's fair to say he definitely won. Round 3, round 4, and round 5 pretty clearly. Um, Round 6 came along, and Garcia seemed to kind of, I guess, get his confidence back again. And yeah, he landed some good shots in the sixth round. Again, landing some straight right hands. I mean, we all know, when you're fighting a southpaw, the straight right hand is the money shot really. Um, for Garcia, his best shot is his left hook, but for a southpaw, it's the straight right hand. That's usually the most effective punch. And Garcia was landing some good shots in the sixth round. And again, Davis wasn't hurt or anything, but you could tell Davis was a little bit, I think he respected Garcia's power. I think that's the best way to put it. He was wary of Garcia's power. So sixth round again was a good round for Garcia, and it's probably the second and only round you could give Garcia in this fight. The first round and the second round, the first round and the sixth round. So Garcia comes back, ends the sixth round on a good note. Then we head into the seventh round, which was the final round of this fight, and it's kind of a similar pattern. Garcia coming out and kind of with confidence again, and maybe starting to feel like the tide is starting to change a little bit, letting his hands go, showing his hand speed, and then again, it's really like Davis just carries dynamite in his hands. Again, Garcia just not defensively responsible for 1 second or overstretch, and Davis lands a phenomenal left hand to Garcia's body. And Garcia, I mean, he was really hurt. I mean, it was kind of an interesting knockdown because Garcia did kind of back away. He looked hurt, and his kind of nose started bleeding. So on first glance, it was just a bit strange as to what happened. Was it actually a headshot that got him or not? But the way Garcia, you could tell Garcia was hurt. He took a knee, and it kind of looked like he might get up. He was kind of looking at the referee. He took a knee, but the referee's count got to 9, and yeah, Garcia just, you know, he didn't want any more. I mean, it's always harsh to say in boxing that a fighter quit because they're all warriors, and it takes immense guts to get in the ring. But whatever the case, Garcia either he wasn't able to or he didn't want to. That body shot really got him good, and he was counted out by the referee, and Davis gets the 27th knockout, I believe, of his professional career. Overall, a really good fight, and both fighters deserve credit for taking this fight. We're in kind of a bit of an era where there's a bit too much politics, and some big fights are not being made, as we all know. So both deserve credit for taking this fight. And as for the result, I don't think many people can not many people are shocked by this result. As mentioned, Davis had the better pedigree, better professional pedigree, and it kind of showed on a night. No one can deny it. Garcia is immensely talented. He's extremely talented, and he's only 24 years old. He can definitely come back and go again, but he has got a lot of improvements to be made, especially defensively. Whereas Davis looks like a very, very seasoned fighter. He's quite low output. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, but he's just everything he throws with intent. And yeah, just when Davis throws, you just feel like something's gonna happen, especially that left hand. If when he cracks to that left hand, at 135 pounds or 140 pounds, I doubt we can ever get back to 130, but at these lighter weight divisions, if Davis hits you on the chin, there's a very good chance you're gonna go down. So yeah, that was the story of the fight. It was a thrilling fight to watch. It was a thrilling fight to watch, to be fair. Um, and in the post-fight press conference, there was respect shown between Davis and Garcia, which was nice to see. Davis did say Garcia was the best opponent he's had so far, and I think most people would agree with that. I think Garcia, I mean, Davis's other tough fight was against Isaac Cruz. He was a good fighter as well, but I think most people would agree that Garcia is probably a bit more talented than Isaac Cruz, especially offensively. So there was respect shown, and Davis was actually asked in the post-fight press conference who he wants to fight next, and he was a little bit coy. Obviously, at 135 pounds, Gervonta Davis holds the WBA regular belt, um, whereas Devin Haney holds pretty much every other title. He's undisputed. So I mean, it would make sense for him to fight Devin Haney. Obviously, Devin Haney is fighting Vasyl Lomachenko, so that's no foregone conclusion. Haney needs to beat Vasyl Lomachenko first, which is could be a tough fight. We'll find out very soon or what happens there. But anyway, the journalist did ask, what Davis thinks about fighting Haney, and he wasn't really, giving a yes or no answer. It's kind of keeping his cards to his chest. But I think Davis is becoming more and more of a star, and as a result, he's going to have a lot of options. I mean, already throughout his career, he's already moved up and down the weights a bit. So, it wouldn't be a surprise if Davis decides to go back up to 140 pounds and then pursues a title there. You know, that's a real possibility because he's got so many options. He is becoming a pay-per-view star now, and he can kind of go up and down the weights as he pleases as long as he's making it easily. I mean, 135 pounds, he looked okay on the scales, but you know, maybe he does fancy going up to 140. It remains to be seen. Garcia, we'll see. I mean, hopefully we see him come back before the end of the year. We don't want another long layoff for Garcia for him to know because he's a young fighter, and I think if he wants to improve, he needs to just get back in a ring, maybe come back against you know not a world class opponent, get a win again, get his confidence back up, and then fight for a title again. Obviously we had the rehydration clause here as well. That's another factor about. I think looking at the fight, it's hard to say that the rehydration clause would have. We'll never know for sure. It was an interesting move by Davis and his team to put a rehydration clause in, but Garcia made both pretty easily. He didn't seem to struggle to weigh in. He didn't seem to struggle at the second weigh in. So we'll never know. We'll never know. Maybe Garcia would have had a bit more zip in his punches if the fight was at 140. Maybe he was a little bit drained, but I think most people would agree that there was a bit of a skill gap there, and Davis was just kind of the better boxer there. He had the better boxing IQ, and yeah, he just looked a step ahead of Garcia. But overall, a good fight, a good advertisement for boxing, And yeah, hopefully we see them back in the ring soon. I mean, these guys are still two young guys, so there's no reason why they can't have a rematch down the line. But I think Garcia, if he wants to have a rematch with Davis, he did mention it in the post-fight press conference. But if he has any chance against Davis, he needs to really, tighten up a few things and probably just become a bit more seasoned and probably take on a few more better caliber opponents. Because Davis was the best fighter he's faced by quite some distance. So if Garcia shares ring a few more better fighters, who knows what could happen in the future. But congratulations to Gervonta Davis. A devastating seventh round knockout. I mean, 93% knockout ratio, one of the pound for pound biggest punches in boxing. You know, extremely exciting. And, it remains to be seen who he fights next. Who do you think he should fight next? Do you think it should be Devin Haney? Do you think it should be someone at 140 pounds? What is the next best move for Gervonta Davis after following his victory? Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and catch you soon.